She's so diva,
Cut
girl.
that out, I don't want it in there. It's not my contract.
What's going on, everyone? Welcome to another episode. I'm Jeff.
I'm Mia.
I'm Adam.
I'm Jake.
I'm Mary Jane.
And today I have all my friends with me and we're gonna do a homebrew. Today we are brewing a hazy pale ale. I got really excited. I just got a second torpedo keg for my tap system and I wanted to throw a second beer on it before I left for my trip. So hazy pale ale sounded awesome. We're using a ton of hops. I can't wait to show you the ingredients. But before all that, guys, you ready?
I'm ready.
Yeah.
Let's have some beer.
Or let's make some beer.
That too. So here's what we're brewing with today. I got 11 pounds of 2-row. I have some oranges that we're gonna zest, probably about an ounce of that. Some flaked wheat, some flaked oats. I made my very first yeast starter, so I'm excited about that. That's Vermont Ale Yeast. And then an absolute ridiculous amount of hops. Now most of this is not going into the boil, it's gonna go in afterwards and you guys will get to see that. But for now, got the strike water heating up. Let's get started. All right guys, so no, Mia is not that tall. She's standing on a cooler.
Story of my life.
But she's about to mash in. We got our strike water up to 175.6. So she's gonna dump the grains in right now. And yes, I said right now. Right now. Oh, beautiful. Into the masher.
Master Mia.
Alright, so now I got Mary Jane. She is my master stirrer. She is stirring those grains in.
Stirring the pot.
Stirring the pot. She's making sure that they're, you know, nice and separated. Make sure we can extract as much of the sugars from those grains as possible. And yeah, in a minute we'll just mash in and set our timer. Having fun there, Mary Jane?
Sounds like breakfast.
Smells like breakfast. Alright guys, so we're checking our mash temp and we're just under 160. Our goal was 155, but I'm not mad at this. It's probably okay. It must just be a hotter day than I thought. But anywho, we're gonna mash in for an hour, so we will see you then. Alright guys, the mash in is done. We've waited 60 minutes. The next step is to basically get it all into the brew kettle below me here. But before we do that, we want to make sure that we get our beer nice and clear. We don't want any of the grains getting through. We don't want particulates in our beer. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to slowly pour some of this wort into this little bowl here, and we're gonna create a grain bed inside of there. So all I'm doing is turn it on. Here we go. We're just pouring it nice and slow, and what you'll see in a minute, you look real close, you can kind of see some grains getting in there. So we don't want that. So what we're gonna do, let me tilt this up so no more pours out. All we do is we take it, pour it right back on top. And then we just do it again. And while we're doing this, you'll see that the wort gets more and more clear over time with less and less particulates. And that's because inside the actual cooler or mash tun or whatever you want to call it, it's making a really nice grain bed. So, man, look at that color. It's a nice color. So we're just gonna keep cycling this out until we get some clear beer. So once we're done clarifying this, I'm just gonna put the hose inside our brew kettle here. We're gonna empty it all in there. Then we're gonna sparge. So we're gonna get more of the sugars off of these grains. And then we start our boil. All right, so we have officially mashed out. Everything's drained into the brew kettle below us here. But next is actually sparging. So I've heated up about 3 gallons of sparge water to 175 degrees. And what Mary Jane's gonna do is she's gonna fill up this bowl and spread those grains back into the mash tun. Now the reason why we do this is because there's still a lot of leftover sugars inside this mash tun with all those grains. We wanna wash those grains clean and get as many sugars as we can so our yeast have a lot to eat and we can convert this into alcohol. So she's gonna continue to do this, and then after this we can set the brew kettle up and start our boil. All right guys, so we reached hot break, and luckily I had my hand on the knob ready to go. So we didn't have any boil over, and we're reaching the rolling boil right now. So you can see that beer dancing right now. And yeah, we're gonna start our timer for 60 minutes, so here we go. Alright guys, so I got Mia here. We're about to add our first hop addition. This is literally the only hop addition we're adding in this boil, and it's half an ounce of Galaxy hops. So go ahead, Mia, drop her in. And there we go.
Nailed it.
Well guys, we only have 15 minutes left in our boil, so at this point we're going to add the wort chiller. The reason why we're adding this now is because we are going to sanitize it by sitting in this boiling water. Because as soon as this boil's done, we got to cool this shit down, and the last thing we want is contaminants getting into our wort from a wort chiller. So yeah, this just helps it out. On top of that, we're adding a couple other things. Here we have this tiny little pill. It is a yeast nutrient. Basically, by tossing this in, it creates just some more chemicals that's gonna help our yeast be more effective, have a cleaner fermentation. I did make a yeast starter, so this thing is gonna be on fire, especially with this. Think of it as like a caffeine pill, like before you go into work. So caffeine pills going in, and then in all honesty, it wasn't part of my original recipe, but I decided to add an ounce of orange zest to the boil. I just want more of that aromatic, more of that like just fruit, citrus, juicy, just deliciousness. Mary Jane, thank you for zesting this. She did all the hard work, but now I'm just pouring it in. So here we go. Alright, so we only have about 15 minutes left in the boil, and at Flameout we're going to add some more hops, and then we start cooling this down, and that's where the real game changer is when it comes to this hazy pale ale, so stay tuned.
Alright, we literally just turned off the flame, and now I'm going to add an ounce of Falconers Flight and an ounce of Galaxy into our concoction here. Here we go.
Alright guys, we have the wort down to about 170 degrees. I'm about to drop this bag of hops in there. This has got 3 ounces of Falconers Flight, 2 ounces of Galaxy, and this strategy is called hop bursting. What hop bursting is when you get your wort down to about 170, you add the hops, and as your beer cools down, the differing temperatures are going to pull out different flavors and aroma out of the hops. So this is going in there until this beer is completely cooled down. And yeah, I'm really excited about it. I will tell you that this hop bag was a little bit tighter than I anticipated, and I have the same stuff for our future hop editions. I'm thinking I'm gonna need a bigger bag because I want to make sure it's picking up on that volume. But the reason why I'm putting it in a bag is because a lot of the homebrews that I've seen with hazy pale ales or hazy IPAs, and they just pour the hops in, they get a lot of particulates, a lot of leafy matter, and I'm trying to avoid that. I do want hazy, I do want murky, but I don't want floaties. I don't want floaties. So anywho, we're cooling this down. Plan is, let's get it down to 80. We're gonna pitch that yeast and game on, baby. Well guys, our wort has been chilled down. It's time to throw it into the fermenter. That's what's about to happen right now. And then immediately after that, I'm gonna pitch the yeast. So here we go. Oh, stay away. Stay away. Stay away. Here we go. So even though we're under 5 gallons, the nice thing is we have a beautiful beer. And I'm pretty sure that this is gonna end up exactly what I want it to be. So right now, I'm gonna stir this like crazy. And the reason why is because I wanna oxidize this as much as possible before I pitch the yeast. Now, I used my first ever yeast starter, or I'm going to use my first ever yeast starter in this batch. And if you guys are curious how I did that, just let me know in the comments and I will make a video about it. But if you just go on YouTube and search create a yeast starter, you'll see how to do it. Craft Beer Nation, love you guys over there. That's really where I learned how to do it. And right now I'm just literally oxidizing my wort before I pitch that yeast. And then it's game on, time to ferment. So we'll see you guys in a minute. Alright guys, so huge thing to note, we landed on 1.058. Our goal was 1.057. And so we literally hit it, I mean, in my opinion, we hit it right on the frickin' dot. I am super stoked on this. When it comes to the final gravity reading, I can't believe we hit it like this because, well, you know, brew day, drinking, mistakes are made. And still worked out, so yeah, here we go. Time to pitch the yeast.
Alright guys, so what I have here is a yeast starter. Jeff made this last night and he pitched some yeast into it and let it do its thing for about the last 24 hours. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna throw this in there and it's gonna do its thing like MJ, like Kobe, like LeBron, you know? It's really gonna fuck this shit up, quote unquote Jeff. So, it might look like butterscotch, but it's not. It's gonna really, it's like it's already running and it's gonna pick everything up with it. It's like catching that wand in the Olympics. It's really gonna go, so let's do it.
Just ignore Poe, by the way. Get out of here, Poe.
He likes to help. He likes to be moral support.
Mmm, so yeasty. Hey guys, so it's actually been about 2 days since brew day. Fermentation is kicked off beautifully. And now it's time to add some more hops. So I have 2 ounces of Galaxy hops here, 2 ounces of Falconers Flight. And one thing that I want to try doing is adding a weight to this hop bag. I've heard a lot of things online about how adding weight will drop it down to the bottom of the fermentation bucket, which means it's going to extract some more of those oils. So I figured it would only be appropriate to use a Millennium Falcon bottle opener. So that's going in the hop bag right now. Just like that. And then I'm going to tie it off. This is all sanitized, by the way. The scissors used to cut the hop bags, the bag itself, the bottle opener, everything was sanitized. So this is now going into the fermentation bucket, and I did pull off a little bit of the beer, so it actually tastes delicious. It's really, really light. Obviously, it's still early in fermentation, so there's still a lot of work that needs to be done with that yeast, but very exciting being able to taste that early. But now, let's go ahead and put this in the fermentation bucket, and we'll add some more hops in a few more days. Stay tuned. Alright guys, it's day 5, and we have another 4 ounces of hops to add to the dry hop. This is 2 ounces of Galaxy and 2 ounces of Falconer's Flight. I'm dropping it right in there, and then in about 3 more days, I'm going to move everything into the keg. Alright, so before I added my final addition of dry hops, I decided to siphon out a little bit of the beer just to give it a try, see what it looks like, see where it's at. Again, this is day 5 of fermentation. We're going a few more days and then we're moving the beer into the keg. So this is not the finished product, but when I opened that fermenter to put the dry hops in, oh my god, it smelled incredible, and I was like, you know what? I gotta try some of this. So I sanitized some tools and was able to siphon off a little bit of the beer. So I'm gonna go ahead and give it a try now and see where it's at. Cheers. Whoa, yeah. Oh yeah, that is awesome. Really light body. The bitterness is not too strong. It's very mild. It carries well with the body, and wow, the fruit flavors on this thing are incredible. Oh my god. This beer is gonna be so awesome. I cannot wait until it's done. Man. You're getting pineapple, you're getting tangerine, you're getting grapefruit, you're getting a little bit of that orange peel that we added at the end of the boil. It blends together beautifully. I think that this might be, don't quote me on this, but I think that this might be the best beer I've made so far. I don't know what it's gonna be like for sure yet. I mean, you really don't know until you actually tap it. So I guess we'll have to find out. But the sad part is as soon as I keg this beer, I'm off to Bali for 2 weeks. So I won't even get to try it until the day I come back. So until then, this is gonna have to tide me over, and it's doing a great job. So we'll see you in a few more days, and then we'll keg the beer. See you then. Hey, what's up, and welcome back. So we have finished fermentation. It's been just about 2 weeks. And I leave for my trip for Bali in like 2 days, so really I don't have a choice. It's time to keg this beer. So we're gonna get started. The first step is sanitizing everything. So that's what I'm doing right now in the background. And then I'm gonna bring out that fermenter and we're gonna siphon the beer into the keg. Here we go. All right, so as you can see, we started the process of siphoning everything in. You guys can see the little hop bags in there. Been sitting there the whole time. We are now moving it into the keg, and as you can see, it's got a really beautiful color to it, so I'm really stoked about that. There we go, it's got a beautiful color to it, really stoked about that. And yeah, now we're just going to sit here and wait for it all to siphon into the keg, and then we're going to put it away. Alright, so upon measuring the gravity, it looks like we're finishing out at about 1020. So This beer is about 5%. It's a little bit lower than I anticipated, but to be honest with you, that's okay. It just means it's more sessionable. But I'm curious to figure out where I went wrong with all my stuff, because I felt like we were pretty spot on. But hey, I'll take it. 5%. I'll see you guys again in 2 weeks. I'll probably look a little tanner, and we'll see what the beer actually tastes like after it's carved up. Cheers. Alright guys, so brew day is done, kegging is done, the beer has been poured. I'm here with my friend Chris, fellow beer nerd, fellow beer connoisseur, and he had nothing to do with the brew process on brew day. I had a lot of friends there that day, so we get an unbiased opinion from him. And now we're reviewing Han Solo's Hazy Pale Ale. It finished out at 5.1%. So we're going to go ahead and see how it is. Go ahead and go in for the aroma.
Super fruity. Wow. I don't really know what else to say.
What kind of fruits are you getting off of it? I'm curious if you can pinpoint what I put in there. One of the hop varieties is a little hard, but one of the other ones is pretty spot on in my eyes.
Citric.
So yes and no. Just to remind those of you watching this, so I use Galaxy and Falconers Flight.
Alright.
Han Solo.
Gotcha.
Falcon. Galaxy. So I get a lot of that like sweet pineapple, like a candied pineapple. And then a ton of citrus. I did use orange zest in the brew, so you're probably getting a little bit more orange from that than the Citra. And then I'm getting like slightly earthy qualities as well. Falconer's Flight is a combination of 7 different hop varieties. I'm not going to name them off for you. Go Google them. But yeah, anywho, you're picking it up on the nose. The dry hopping paid off. I mean, this is very aromatic. I am so happy with it. All right, so now it's time to go in for the taste. You ready?
Let's do it.
Cheers.
Cheers. Oh yeah. Wow. Galaxy and Falconers are a lovely combination.
Yeah, I was actually very surprised.
Wow.
I didn't know how Falconer's Flight would turn out. Never brewed with it before. I've only tried it a handful of times. But dry hopping it worked out very, very well.
So many good earthy flavors in there.
It's nice because you get the tropical fruit, you get the sweetness, you get a nice mellow malty backbone, and then you get that the earthy, herbaceous, dirt, grass.
Exactly
Just,
what I like. Wow.
Yeah, it turned out fantastic.
That's a damn fine beer.
Yeah, so one thing I will point out, something I'm a little disappointed in, is the actual look of the beer. I like the color. I did want it a little bit lighter, and I'm kind of confused because I used basically all 2-row. There wasn't any like darker malts in there, so I was expecting this to be like a light bright yellow. Still didn't turn out that way. It could have something to do with the temperatures I was working with, but that's something I can probably correct in a future batch. The other is the actual clarity. So I wanted this to be a pretty hazy beer. I mean, calling it a hazy pale ale, I want it to be hazy. This actually has more of an unfiltered look to me.
Yep.
I did use only 1 pound of oats, so my guess is that the oats weren't enough. I try to stay light on the oats only because so many other brewers tell me, dude, you do not want to stuck sparge, it's a nightmare. But I think next time I'm probably going to double or even triple my oats in the batch. and just make sure I'm using rice hulls and I'm being very, very careful because I love that look of just like a murky, hazy beer. I don't know. I mean, I'm sure a lot of you out there, all you haze bros, know what I'm talking about. But regardless, to me, at the end of the day, it's how it tastes.
Right.
And for me, I couldn't have asked for a better result. It really turned out great. What a gift to come home to after my Bali trip. It's super crushable too, 5.1%. Goes down easy. In fact,
It's a session.
Yeah, I actually just chugged one like maybe 20 minutes ago, so that just gives you an idea. Yeah, shout out whale watchers. But anywho, let's go ahead and do a quick scoring. Why not? Like, fuck it. And be as brutally honest as you can. Okay, so on a score of 1 to 10, how would you rate the aroma?
I would rate the aroma a freaking 10. It smells delicious. It smells fantastic. I was hoping that it would taste as good as it smells, and it really does. I mean, this is a really nicely executed beer. Maybe you didn't get the actual murkiness you were looking for, but the flavor is, I mean, like you said, crushable. I mean, this might be a nice Saturday afternoon beer for me.
Yeah. So for me, aroma, I'm gonna give it a 9. The only reason why is I got a ton of aroma out of this, but the whole time I was brewing, I was thinking, am I adding too much hops? Am I adding too much hops? And the whole time, I'm like, look, the aromatics are just gonna be through the roof.
Yep.
I'm gonna be smelling nothing but straight up pineapple. And in all honesty, I'm smelling a ton of pineapple. It's just, I don't know. I thought the second I poured it out of my tap, my nostrils would just be like, pff, like blown away. I've had those kind of beers before. Monkish does a really good job at that. And it wasn't quite there. But I think I used enough hops. I think it's just perfecting my recipe, maybe tweaking the time at which I add the dry hops, things like that I can really bring this to a 10. But yeah, 9 for aroma. So for flavor, personally, myself, I'm gonna give it a 10. I mean, obviously there's bias involved, but to me, when I make a beer, I typically make it for other people. The last beer I made was a red ale. That was for John. The beer before that was a lemon Belgian wit beer. Those were for a couple other friends. This one was for me. Like, I wanted a really crushable, hazy beer. And I love Han Solo. He's my favorite Star Wars character. So I was like, this is perfect. This is going to be the Jeff beer. And it worked out beautifully. Aside from the look of it, when it comes to the flavor, I don't really want to change a thing. It's exactly what I want. And I'm overjoyed too that Falconers Flight and Galaxy actually meshed really well together, because I had no idea what would happen with that. It was kind of a mystery. Mystery solved. It's bomb. How about you?
I basically rate beers on how likely I would like to drink them again, and I would like to drink this beer all day. So I'm going to give you a 10 on this for taste. Yeah, I mean, there's nothing bad I can say about this beer. Again, maybe it wasn't what you were looking for, but it turned out a happy accident, I guess. Unfiltered ale. It's beautiful. I mean, it's really good.
Thanks, man. Well, there you guys have it. That is our full grain to glass walkthrough. You guys can make beers just like this at home. Hopefully this video was helpful to you. If you have questions, please leave them in the comments below. I'll be happy to answer them. If you guys have feedback, if you're a brewer and you have feedback on the process, maybe there's something I missed, maybe there's something I can do to like improve this situation, or maybe, you just have a 2 cents to add in, go for it. Please leave it in the comments. I'd love to hear it. Thank you for watching. If you did enjoy this episode, please make sure that you give us that thumbs up, you share with your friends that love beer, love watching videos about beer, let's be real. And if you haven't already, please subscribe. It helps me a lot. It gets us a bigger following. It gives me more reasons to make videos. And to be honest with you, it keeps me going. The more of you that are watching this, and I know are watching this, the more I want to make videos for you. So please keep subscribing, share with your friends, get them to subscribe, all that fun stuff. Thank you for watching. I love you. And until next time, I'm Jeff.
I'm Chris.
And we'll see you again on Let's Have Some Beer. Cheers.